Welcome to day 11 of break-off. Some brilliant quarter-final action. Ding against Judd Trump, Sean Murphy up against the debutant Anthony McGill, and then the second set of quarters to get underway. Stuart Bingham and Ronnie O'Sullivan, Barry Hawkins up against Neil Robertson. Now in theory, no matches go to a finish here on the last Tuesday of the championship. The marathon is drawing to a close, so it gives us an opportunity to head up to the Winter Gardens, where a certain six-time world champion is attempting, apparently, a brand new world record.
Well, it appears that the Guinness Book of Records and Blue Peter want to create a world record by seeing if they can pot 15 reds in a minute. But I don't think even Tony Drago on a very large cup of coffee could do this.
Well, there's been a development with this world record. Steve apparently was given the wrong information. The target is actually 15 reds in a minute and a half, because this is a brand new establishment of a world record. It's never been done before, but it won't count as a world record unless the 15 reds go down in 90 seconds.
We have an official, as you can see, from the Guinness Book of World Records. He's going to officiate over it. Steve is going to have a go. I've had a few practice runs. It's not as easy as I thought it would be. You know the way you do it with 10 reds on big break, but with 15 reds it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Well, halfway through his minute and a half, and the Darling of Dublin was on course, and then this long pot shocker, giving him all sorts of problems. He really had to make the last half minute count if he was to become a record breaker in the Winter Gardens. Brilliant long pots, and then there was just one lone solitary red. Did he get it down in time? Well, our man from the Guinness Book of Records would make us wait until Steve Davis had had his turn. Ken was exhausted. Well, Steve Davis said it was a hard challenge, and after seeing just how good Ken Doherty was in his effort, the Nugget decided to call it a day.
When you know you can't. It's okay. For Steve's attempt, he has 20 minutes. Steve is doing a record, the least amount of balls you can pot. I give in.
Super stuff there from Ken, and I can confirm not only is the Darling of Dublin a world champion, he is now a world record holder. 1 minute 27 seconds. He had 3 seconds to spare. It was never in doubt, was it? If you want to watch that world record attempt in full, then it'll be available on Blue Peter with Radzi and the rest of the gang. So from one challenge to do 15 reds in 90 seconds, how about the Betfred World Micro Snooker Championship? Even harder, 15 balls, yes it's pool, but in 60 seconds. Mark Allen's the current leader. Let's find out if anybody can push the pistol close. This is called the Micro World Championship. It's as many as you can pot in a minute. We couldn't find snooker balls, so we have to make do with pool balls. Doesn't matter if the black goes in early on, not a problem. But the key with this is, if you go in off with the white, the break's over. Look who we've got on the table. It's the Australian legend Neil Robertson, world champion, reigning Wuxi Classic champion. He's achieved everything in the game since arriving from down under, but can he conquer the Micro Snooker Challenge? Neil Robertson, 3, 2, 1, you're live. Solid start. Well, he's taking this so seriously. There are balls going everywhere here. Well, this is sensational. Oh no! He's gone! 13 seconds, I make that. Unlucky for some. Let's pull them out. There's 2, 3, 4. Well, he's not going to be last. There might be another one in there. 5. And there's one on the floor. 6. 6, Neil Robertson. Not a bad effort, but man, it's because the balls weren't polished.
Yeah, I just got a bit excited. I was going for the all-time world record, and yeah, just a little bit too much power for a cue such a size.
Well, you weren't at the bottom, you weren't at the top. That was a pretty solid effort there from the Thunder from down under. Well, Neil Robertson almost looking lost for words there. Not a bad effort, but it's nowhere near good enough to be top of the table. He's got mid-table security, 6 balls in 15 seconds, and still leading by quite some margin, Mark the Pistol Allen from Northern Ireland. Well, it is always amazing the type of people who are attracted to the sport's spiritual home. And I tell you a first that we've not had before, a professional yodeler. This is Bjorn. He's come over from Norway. Now, Bjorn, I thought yodeling was done in Switzerland and Austria. What's going on?
Yeah, basically it's German, Austrian and Swiss, but I just happen to know some yodeling myself. I just learned it by accident, listening to a lot of Hank Williams and Jim Rogers, and later the more German style of yodeling, the Alpine style of yodeling as well. So, yeah.
It's amazing. So, are you famous in Norway?
Well,
don't be modest.
Some people might not know of me. Yeah, the yodeling enthusiast, at least no. I've been on TV a couple of times performing. I warmed up for Aha, the band.
Wow. Now listen, if we can fix it for you, will you perform for us, for the audience, in the Crucible this afternoon?
Yeah, absolutely, sure. No problem.
Okay, now first of all, we've just got to check that you are the full Monty, and I have no doubt, absolutely no doubt, that you are the main man and you're as good as you say you are. So take it away. Give us a little snapshot of what we can expect on the arena floor. This is crazy. We've literally just bumped into this guy. He's insane.
For the very first time in Crucible history, we have a professional yodeler here in the auditorium, the mind boggles. So, Bjorn, now bear in mind, mate, we are live in about 5 minutes, so just give us a little burst of about 2 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bjorn from Norway, the first ever. Professional yodeler to appear at the Crucible. Bjorn, 3, 2, 1, you're live.
What a memorable Crucible debut there for our resident yodeler, the mind boggles. Right, let's get to the serious stuff. The mean business of qualifying for the semi-finals of this year's Betfred World Snooker Championship. Ivan Hershevitz has enjoyed every ball that we've seen so far in the first instalments of our quarterfinals. Ivan, we have to talk about that blistering start from Judd Trump, racing 6-0 ahead, and those last 2 frames from Ding could prove to be absolutely crucial, but he's got a mountain to climb.
Yeah, when you looked at the quarterfinal lineup, you probably thought the toughest one to call and the closest match would be that one, Trump against Ding. But Trump just got off to a sensational start, 6-0. OK, Ding's fought his way back into it a little bit, and let's not forget he came from 4-0 down to beat Mark Davis and 5-1 down to beat John Higgins, so he has got previous of fighting back from well behind, but it's going to be really tough against Trump. And I thought it was interesting in Trump's press conference in his first 2 matches, he just seems very, very quietly confident. He said, if I play my game, I will beat Ding, you know, and I think he's just very, very confident about his game at the moment.
Well, he's certainly looking good here as we speak at the moment. Now, the other quarterfinal that started this morning, totally different dynamic in this one, but equally fascinating. Murphy, so classy with back-to-back centuries. You start to look at McGill 3-1 down and think, OK, is this roller coaster fairy tale finally coming to an end? And he levels the session.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we see it quite often, don't we? Somebody causes a big upset, and then in the next round they've just got nothing left. I mean, remember Michael Wasley last year beating Ding Junhui, and then he just lost heavily to Dominic Dale in the second round. But McGill just keeps on going. You know, after that slow start, he kind of thought, well, is this a bridge too far for him? But he's in there battling. You know, he's got this great all-round game, which is an interesting contrast of styles against Murphy, who described himself as a bit of a mad potter yesterday. Yeah, I mean, that one looks like it could go all the way. Really fascinating.
The afternoon's quarter-finals both finished 5-3, but not necessarily to the players we were expecting. Barry Hawkins with a crucial advantage over Neil Robertson, and Ronnie O'Sullivan trailing Stuart Bingham 5-3. And perhaps most of us, or too many of us, were too keen to write Stuart Bingham's chances off. That's a great start from him in that match.
I mean, you know, we remember we were there in Llandudno when O'Sullivan beat Bingham 6-0 in the semi-finals, kind of wiped the floor with him. And of course he beat him 13-4 when they met in the quarter-finals here a couple of years ago. But this time Bingham looks like he's really up for it. You know, he doesn't want to be a kind of he's not going to roll over against O'Sullivan this time. You know, and to win the last 3 frames of the session, finish 5-3 ahead, he'll be delighted. And O'Sullivan, I think he's shown flashes of brilliance so far, hasn't he, over the past week. But also there's been quite long spells where he's kind of looked like he's getting a bit frustrated. There's been a few controversial incidents he's been involved in. You know, he's missing balls. And I think if somebody really stands up to him, if Bingham can do that, he's got a great chance.
Right, let's tee it up for tomorrow morning then. Barry Hawkins resuming with that 5-3 lead over Neil Robertson. And again, perhaps with Hawkins, we underestimate how great a player he is. Final 2 years ago, semis last year, he's got a fantastic opportunity to put Neil Robertson away.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a poor season, really. Hawkins, by his standards, I think he got to the semi-final right at the start of the season, but nothing really since then. But he's one of those players, you know, a bit like Graham Dott or Ali Carter. The Crucible seems to bring the best out of him. There's not many players who have got to the one-table setup 3 years in a row. And from 3-1 down today, he was superb. I don't think Robertson scored a point in the next 4 frames. You know, Robertson probably played better than anyone so far, but Hawkins has really kind of kept him up under wraps. And I think one thing about Hawkins, again, he's got that quiet confidence, the composure, the self-belief, and he won't be afraid of winning.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Ivan. Well, if we enjoyed the first half of our quarterfinals, the second half tomorrow is going to be brilliant. After all, on day 12, we complete the lineup for the one-table setup. We are starting to edge closer and closer to finding out who's going to be this year's Betfred World Snooker Champion. So make sure you join us tomorrow. Bye-bye.